Local Justice, presented by Elrod Pope Law Firm, serving our community since 1980. Here's your host, attorney Ben Leader.
Welcome to Local Justice. Today we're honored to be joined by Sandy Barron, an executive board member of Family Promise of York County. This is an organization that has spent 25 years keeping families together during housing crises. Many people don't realize that family homelessness exists right here in York County, but sadly it does, and it's much more common than most people realize. Fortunately, Family Promise has quietly been changing lives and addressing the homelessness problem for decades, and we want to shed a spotlight on this critically important organization and the great work they do behind the scenes for our community to help keep families together and to help keep them safe. Sandy, welcome to Local Justice. It's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you for having me.
Andy, thank you for joining us on the show, and thanks for your time today. Before diving into Family Promise, I want to hear a little bit about you and your background.
Absolutely. I am with Epic Global, a corporation that is international, provides services for law firms, corporations, government agencies, primarily in the areas of class action, mass tort, e-discovery, regulatory and compliance, corporate restructure, bankruptcy, those types of matters. I provide leadership in the class action space. So for the past 15 years, I've designed and had oversight of the design and implementation of programs that are created out of those class action settlements. A few of the more high-profile cases that I've worked on is the BP Deepwater Horizon, which was the oil spill in the Gulf in 2010. Also, the NFL concussion settlement had about 20,000 class members.
Wow. And
the NCAA concussion settlement, which has about 1.5 million class members. Currently, I'm working on a program that's created out of a consent decree between Norfolk Southern and the United States government. And so, as a result of a derailment in East Palestine, Ohio in 2023, we're developing a medical monitoring program for that settlement.
Well, that's really important work on a very large scale that you're doing now. And I feel compelled to mention kind of the personal connection we have, because prior to your 15 years in mass tort class action leadership, you actually worked as a paralegal here in Rock Hill for Elrod Pope Law Firm, and I think you worked with my dad, Jack Leader, during that time too. Tell us a little bit about that phase of life and your time with Elrod Pope.
I did, and that was about 2 decades ago, actually.
That's right.
So I had the privilege of working with your father. So this feels very, very much like home, and it's somewhat of a full circle moment,
Absolutely.
I suppose. Working with your father was a privilege. My time at Elrod Pope Law Firm was a great experience, and your father was a mentor to me, and he provided so much wisdom and was so generous with sharing his litigation expertise. But notably, what I observed was his integrity and his compassion. One of the things that I took with me is that the law is not just about cases. It's about the individual, the client, and seeing the client, understanding that they've been hurt, they're suffering, and what my time with your dad helped me to understand is how important it is, to connect with those that we're working with. So working with, hundreds of thousands of class members or claimants, they're trying to rebuild. They had one event that changed everything for them. If you walk into a law firm, most of the time you're walking in because one event changed your life, and you have to rebuild and try to find that stability again. And so, your father, I would say he led through compassion with his family, with his practice, and in his community. And so I've taken that with me, and you actually carried that legacy forward, and I know he's very proud.
Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing all of that. That's very special, and I know that he would be proud to see your growth and the journey that you've had now, and helping people on a much larger scale than just here in York County. And at the end of the day, the cases really are about the people, and I love that you've still got that mindset. And I do want to shift gears and dive into Family Promise a little bit more. And so for those who may not be familiar with what Family Promise is, give us kind of the bird's eye view on the organization and what the cause behind it is.
Certainly. Well, a family can be moving through life and have that one unexpected thing happen. And now they don't have housing. And so Family Promise steps in that moment that's probably the most difficult moment in their lives, to help them to rebuild or to restabilize. Family Promise of York County is an affiliate of the National Family Promise Organization. I think what's really important to note about Family Promise is that it's the only organization in York County that serves the entire family. So, there are shelters that will house men or women and children, but none that actually keep the whole family together. Mm-hmm. And, when you don't have the family together, that leads to trauma and insecurity, children who, they aren't sure where they're going to even sleep at night. So Family Promise steps in. They provide a caseworker, obviously shelter and meals, financial, planning, and they help them to find housing. It can typically take, 90 to 120 days, but, they're held accountable and they do the work, and it's critical to keep families together and children with their parents.
It really is a really impressive mission behind it, because you're not just providing beds to families, you're literally preserving the family unit in that process. And there's so many important reasons why that matters. And when we come back, we're going to take a brief break from our sponsors, but when we come back, I want to talk a little bit more about what family homelessness really looks like here in York County, and how Family Promise helps these families rebuild. So we'll be right back with more local justice with Sandy Barron here shortly. Thank you all for tuning in.
As soon as I contacted Elrod Pope, they handled everything. Without Elrod Pope's help, I'd have been paying hospital bills for years to come. Elrod Pope just took the stress and they put it on their table and took it off mine.
Coming to Elrod Pope, I didn't have to worry about anything. Everything was taken care of. It put me in a real calm state because I had someone on my side. I knew that I was in the right hands. It felt great.
We know the type. You like to start early, finish late, make lemon squares, and make payments to the college fund from anywhere in the house. We know you rely on Comporium for the things you rely on most, like a view of the backyard. That's just a bunny, and hundreds of channels to watch, whenever you want. So you may think of us as just your internet company, but we're more like the I didn't know they could do all that company. Comporium, always ready.
Coke Zero is now Coke Zero Sugar, with great Coke taste. Some people were excited to hear the news, some were skeptical. So we're not going to have the star of the show you're watching come out and say, "You'll love it." No special jingle written by this week's hottest pop star. No famous internet celebs who happen to be holding the label just so. Okay, maybe just one little pour shot. The only thing that will make you believe Coke Zero Sugar has great Coke taste is trying it yourself. Ice cold Coke Zero Sugar. Try one today.
Being there for someone in their time of need is what Green Funeral Home has done compassionately for 4 generations. It's a privilege we take very seriously.
We believe each life should be honored and remembered by family and friends. Whether you choose traditional burial in our chapel or another venue, or cremation provided by our on-site crematory, we will help guide you through each step to ensure your needs are met.
We are also available to discuss pre-planning. Peace of mind that you have helped your loved one by making those difficult decisions.
When the need arises, our family is here for your family.
Welcome back to Local Justice. I'm Ben Leader with Elrod Pope Law Firm, and today I'm honored to have with us Sandy Barron from the Executive Board of Family Promise of York County. Sandy, thank you so much for your time and for sharing some insights about this special organization.
Thank you, Ben.
Want to dive right back in and talk about maybe some of the misconceptions people have with homelessness and family homelessness. And one that sticks out to me in particular is that homelessness really doesn't discriminate on anything.
No, I mean, homelessness, it's me, it's you. I think the greatest misconception is what that looks like when a family's homeless. I think that, you know, there are mothers who are working and children who are at school with backpacks, but they're sleeping in hotels at night. They're sleeping on couches and moving from one couch to another. So they look like any other family, but they're not. And so I know, and for myself as well, thinking about homelessness, we tend to visualize adults on the street, right?
Absolutely.
And that comes to mind first. And in my experience, and I've worked for years with these kids in the Charlotte metro area who are staying in hotels. Some of the families that, you know, I've talked to before getting into a program like Family Promise are living in their car for a month and a half. So you have parents, 4 children in a car. It's really, it's shattering. And to know they're experiencing that, and it's somewhat invisible, right? They're not really seen. So I think the misconception as it relates specifically to family homelessness is, well, it's real, and it's real in York County, and it's more than what people realize, but the good news is that it's solvable.
That's right, and it can happen in an instant.
In an instant.
It may not be a result of anything anybody's done. It may just be a nature of a job situation, and suddenly, you know, they're finding themselves in that situation.
That's right.
One of the other things I wanted to kind of hit on is maybe what kind of the process looks like. So if a family does find themselves in that unfortunate situation and they don't know where to go or where to turn, and they stumble across Family Promise, how does that process work?
They would first contact the agency, and the agency would take information, you know, what their situation is, the size of the family, where they're actually living, what the transportation situation is. So we take that information, and then if there's space available in the shelter, would bring them into the program. And if there's not space, they go on a waiting list. There is also a vulnerability assessment that's done to see if they qualify or they're eligible for HUD, but initially it's just intake and gathering the information.
And then hoping that there's space available as well.
Well, hoping that there's space, but there's a wait list, and so there's not always space, and when there's not, we're obviously guiding them toward the other shelters, which are temporary shelters, emergency type shelters. So I can tell you that case managers are doing everything they can, even when we don't have the space at that time, to help each family get the help that they need.
And I think, you know, one of the most unique things about the organization, to me at least, is that it is unique in that it tries to really protect the cohesive family unit and keep them together. And I think the consequences of stripping that unit or separating a family in that very vulnerable situation can be devastating. Can you just touch on kind of why that's so important, and you know, what type of things can happen if the family is separated?
Well, it is devastating, right? And it's trauma. And so when children have to be separated from their parents, it impacts their mental health, their well-being, their education, stability. It impacts, you know, there's security, and that can last for years.
And there's so many different kind of paths that can be taken, whether foster care is involved or things like that, and it can inevitably lead to court systems and all types of problems down the road.
Yeah, the heart of this for me is the children, and absolutely, they could end up in the courts, in the foster care system, and a lot of people think that kids who end up in the foster care system are, there's been abuse, but actually so many of them are in the system simply because their parents don't have housing. And so it should be unnecessary foster care placement, right? As a community, stepping in and being able to, walk with these families to stability, that's obviously ideal, and I think that's the goal, is to keep the family together.
Absolutely, and I think one of the most powerful things you've said is that the problem can be solved, and,
Yes.
and y'all have the roadmap for that. We're going to take another quick break from our sponsors, but in our final segment, I really want to dive into how the community can help the organization solve this problem and continue to do great work on a larger scale, moving forward. So thank you for your time, and thank you to the viewers for tuning in to this very special topic that's important to be highlighted and discussed, and we look forward to continuing the conversation with Sandy Barron here shortly.
As soon as I contacted Elrod Pope, they handled everything. Without Elrod Pope's help, I'd have been paying hospital bills for years to come. Elrod Pope just took the stress and they put it on their table and took it off mine.
Coming to Elrod Pope, I didn't have to worry about anything. Everything was taken care of. It put me in a real calm state because I had someone on my side. I knew that I was in the right hands. It felt great.
Coke Zero is now Coke Zero Sugar, with great Coke taste. Some people were excited to hear the news, some were skeptical. So we're not going to have the star of the show you're watching come out and say, "You'll love it." No special jingle written by this week's hottest pop star. No famous internet celebs who happen to be holding the label just so. Okay, maybe just one little pour shot. The only thing that will make you believe Coke Zero Sugar has great Coke taste is trying it yourself. Ice cold Coke Zero Sugar. Try one today.
When a catastrophe hits, it can be a very stressful time for you. When you have trees on your house, when you have trees on your cars, and you don't know what to do, you call us.
We're not a 1-800 number, we're an 803 number. We've been in business for over 60 years because we take care of our clients. That means taking care of them during claim situations.
We're not 9 to 5, we're 24/7. We're gonna be there when you need us most. Gill Insurance, your local auto owner's agent. Understanding business is how we do business.
Welcome back to Local Justice. Today we're honored to have with us as a guest Sandy Barron of the Executive Board of Family Promise of York County. Sandy, thank you again for your time today and for sharing more about this great organization and the work they do.
Thank you, Ben.
I know that Family Promise recently reached a milestone of 25 years of serving this community. Tell us a little bit about what that means to you.
25 years is quite the milestone, and it tells us that, that the program is effective and that the model works. It also says something about our community, because without the community, Family Promise can't do what Family Promise does. One of the things I would like to highlight is that in 2025, Family Promise of York County also received the Angel Award, which is an award given by the South Carolina Secretary of State Mark Hammond, and this is for nonprofits who, utilize 80% of more of their funding for services, and also include volunteers and, have the stewardship integrity in their operation and in their practice. So, Family Promise was recognized, and I think that says a lot.
Well, congratulations, and kudos to the entire organization. That's a great honor, and
it is.
25 years is a testament to the great work that they've done and continue to do. I really want to focus on, how the community can best support this organization and ensure that their mission can continue. What does the next kind of 3 to 5 years look like in terms of what the organization, plans for? And obviously there's a huge need for this service, and the growth in York County is continuing to explode.
That's very true, and there is a need. And as I mentioned earlier, there's a wait list. So we would like to expand our transitional housing. So we currently have transitional housing, but not enough. And I think the first step is that the Family Center, which is just a few blocks from your office, Ben, needs a sprinkler system, and that's because of safety regulations. But if we're able to install that sprinkler system, we could house 12 additional families per year. That's 12 families, 12 sets of children who are housed and who aren't sleeping in cars. So what we'd like to do is build more relationships with landlords, partner with businesses, acquire other properties, donations, reaching out to the community to see how we can actually expand and serve all the families.
That's great. And so that sprinkler system alone would allow a dozen more families to be able to stay together and have a roof over their heads.
Yeah, every year.
Every year. And so for any of the viewers out there who feel passionate about this and want to help make the sprinkler system happen and help this organization, what is the best way that they can contact you? What's the best way to get their resources to the organization?
Well, you can certainly reach out to familypromiseyc.org, and there'll be places where you can give, you can donate, but really we're looking for local businesses to lead with that compassion. And I think leadership and compassion go hand in hand. So as a business leader, it's an opportunity to really take that step, and it's tangible. There's a measurable impact when you're actually keeping families together, protecting kids from the court system, from foster care system. I would just really encourage any business leader, and we appreciate Elrod Pope for partnering with us and for sponsoring Family Promise. Reach out. You can reach out to me, and we can have that information on the screen. Also, even if you're an individual and you want to help, monthly donations, combined, that makes a huge impact. $25 a month, it may not seem like much, but that's providing meals for the children. $50 would, help supply a case manager, for parents who are trying to regain their stability, or $100 a month, would provide for the actual shelter. Another thing is, if you are attending fundraisers or you're contributing to Family Promise, many employers will actually match your donations. So if you reach out to your HR team, many of them will tell you that, yes, we'll match your donation, and then you're actually doubling your support.
Every little bit helps. And
it does.
I would challenge the viewers, maybe before pulling out the checkbook to write a political campaign, this fall, consider giving to an organization like Family Promise that truly makes a tremendous difference in preserving families in our community and helping them really get through a tough time. So thank you for all the work that you've done and that the board as a whole has done to keep this organization doing the great work they're doing. For the viewers out there that may be interested in learning more about Family Promise, I know y'all have an upcoming gala, I believe.
We do.
Maybe next week is next weekend, I believe.
It is. It is.
Please tell us a little bit about the gala, and if they wanted to support that or attend that, how they can go about doing that.
Every year we have our major fundraiser is generally the first of the year into the spring. This gala is a Roaring Twenties gala, so it's a very fun evening, elegant, with wonderful food, entertainment, live and silent auction, and great people who support in the community. So while there'll be feathers and there'll be kind of Gatsby, fun that night and entertainment, it's really about having a purpose and meaning and supporting, keeping families together. So if you are not able to attend the gala and you're interested in donating, I would encourage you to visit the website. And there's so many ways, not just with attending a fundraiser, but just with, just step up and participate, whether you are sorting donations or helping to move furniture or, just helping families, even with diapers or essential items. There's so many ways that you can help.
The time and the resources are both very valued and
Very.
appreciated. Well, thank you for being here today and being on the show. We talk a lot about justice in the sense of a courtroom on this show or under the
Yes.
law, and I think what Family Promise is really doing is justice at its earliest form. It's preventing crisis, it's keeping families together, and it's protecting children before the legal system ever becomes a necessary part of their life. So please keep
That's
up the
right.
great work y'all are doing, and to the viewers, please consider supporting this great organization. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Local Justice with Sandy Barron, and we'll see you next time.
As soon as I contacted Elrod Pope, they handled everything. Without Elrod Pope's help, I'd have been paying hospital bills for years to come. Elrod Pope just took the stress and they put it on their table and took it off mine.
Coming to Elrod Pope, I didn't have to worry about anything. Everything was taken care of. It put me in a real calm state because I had someone on my side. I knew that I was in the right hands. It felt great.
What's up, Doc?
It's the 42nd Great Easter Egg Classic, Thursday, April 2nd.
It's free.
Cherry Park gates open at 2. The first of 10 exciting runs starts at 3 p.m. with 30,000 eggs and 2,000 prizes.
And meet my friend Bo Bunny.
Presented by Rock Hill PRT, the YMCA of Upper Palmetto, and your favorite OTS media stations. Go to EasterEggClassic.com for all the details. The Great Easter Egg Classic,
where every bunny is a star.
We know the type. You like to start early, finish late, make lemon squares, and make payments to the college fund from anywhere in the house. We know you rely on Comporium for the things you rely on most, like a view of the backyard. That's just a bunny, and hundreds of channels to watch, whenever you want. So you may think of us as just your internet company, but we're more like the I didn't know they could do all that company. Comporium, always ready.
No matter what the weather, AirTech makes it better. No matter what the weather, AirTech makes it better.
Benny Etter here from AirTech Heating and Air. If your system's having problems, give us a call and we'll have our professional team of technicians make a house call to your home. There's no reason to wait until it breaks down and you're in the cold.
Remember, no matter what the weather, AirTech makes it better. Call AirTech Heating and Air.
For over 7 decades, the YMCA of Upper Palmetto has been dedicated to empowering our community. Every day, we're committed to ensuring that every individual, regardless of circumstance, has the chance to thrive. From life-changing initiatives like the First Thursdays Club to unique health programs and vital water safety education, we're here to uplift, inspire, and transform lives. For more on how you can get involved in all we do at YMCA of Upper Palmetto, visit our website or stop by one of our 12 locations.
We can be amazing.
A bank is a building people don't go in much these days. A community banker is a different story. A community banker is who you text every few weeks when your business throws you another curveball. And their response usually saves you a couple nights' sleep. A community banker means you're never alone. I'm Catherine Faircloth, and I'd love to be your first community banker.
At the Rock Hill Parks Foundation, our mission is simple: to enhance our parks and programs, making them better for everyone. The Rock Hill Parks Foundation goes beyond the city's budget, helping fund athletics, senior programs, and improvements to parks and facilities across our community. When you support the Rock Hill Parks Foundation, you help keep our community active, connected, and thriving. Donate today. Every gift matters.